Boy, look at that. Favorite two people and Carlin too. Wow, what a privilege.
Yeah.
First time since I looked it up. April 7th, 2023 was the last time Deuce and Morgan were both on Sactown Sports 1140 air.
Really?
Whoa. I remember being on July 4th with Brendan.
It's true.
Well,
but it was
you
just
were
you.
on, but both of you two on at the same time gave me the road, the pathway to be sitting here today. So obviously I'm just eternally grateful for you two. And thank you so much for hopping on. Deuce Mason, Morgan Ragan, how are you two doing?
So good. But you need to know first, it was all you. Like literally all you. Yes, 100 billion%. So good. And love you guys. We're so excited to be talking to you both.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's good to see you guys. It's been a while. As you can see, I have Brendan in with me today.
What is going on, guys? Thanks again.
He's doing his thing.
Hello.
So, I mean, we haven't really talked all off season. I think it's just good to set the table here and talk a little bit about the Kings' biggest addition this off season in DeMar DeRozan. And the first question I have, because it seems like a lot of people have just endless questions about DeMar's fit, his defense. Will he be a ball stopper in this offense? We can get into that a little bit later, but I'm kind of curious, first and foremost, just who do you think DeMar helps and hurts the most on this roster?
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Yeah, I've been working on my questions.
I mean, I think he can help everyone. In terms of hurting, I could see the case being made that, like, hey, if he's taking shots away from maybe someone like Keegan Murray,
right?
Is that hurting, or is that like maybe hurting Keegan's development? I don't even know about that. I'm not concerned about his fit, because to me, he has played in a variety of systems.
Yep.
He's just a basketball player. I don't think he's a guy that's walking in acting as if he's got to take 20, 25 shots or he's going to pout. He wants to just play basketball the right way. Mm-hmm. And so I think he's going to help more than anything.
Yeah. And also, I mean, what I love about this too, you guys, is that we don't have to sit here today and talk about a player that like has known qualities to hurt a team. Oh, well, they're going to be a liability here. Oh, they're going to, they're a mental head case or whatever the hell it may be. It's so nice that we have to, if we need to pick what he hurts about the team, we have to really like pick at it and find something. But otherwise, I'm kind of with Deuce. Like, I'm very optimistic about this.
It's hard to not be. This guy's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. I say probably. Frankie pointed out to me when they traded for him, the numbers are ridiculous, all-time numbers. Yeah. He's gonna end up there. Can kind of catch you off guard a little bit how high he is on this all-time point scoring list, but obviously not a high volume 3-point shooter. And I think there are some aspects there, but it does make me think that the other guys that are these elite shooters, while you're also sending out Harrison Barnes, a guy that ends above 40%, what feels like every single year of his career from beyond the arc, but it feels like it could make Kevin Huerter, it could make Keon Ellis even more important in this offense. Do you guys kind of view it that way? And does it feel like there needs to be a decision made on who gets more run between the two there, or how do you kind of balance that?
I think the decision will be made within the season. I mean, look how much Mike Brown adjusted things from training camp all the way to the beginning of the season, all the way until the end of the season. And also, health comes into play when guys go down. You obviously have to make those adjustments. But I truly believe that we're never, the thing I always wanted with Mike Brown, I'm always like, oh, maybe we'll really know the identity of this team, 20 games in. That's always like kind of my mark. But I feel like at times you just never know, because he's down to keep exploring different options and rotations.
Yeah, the 3-point shooting is interesting. DeMar took more when he was asked to do more. Last year they had so many injuries with the Bulls. So Donovan goes to him, he's like, hey, we need you to take some more threes. And he did. He's better from the corner than anything. I'm not too concerned about that. And so many people talk about spacing. Look, they're going to guard DeMar DeRozan. If you're going to give him space, he's going to get to his spots and he's going to pump fake you, get to the free throw line, or he's going to get to a spot and hit that mid-range shot. So you still have to guard him. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because someone like Keon Ellis has shot the ball so well from three, not only in the NBA, but the G League level. I think he's going to be on scouting reports now. Teams weren't guarding him as closely. However, you start looking at who else is on the floor with him. He's going to still get some good looks. I think the same thing with Keegan and even Kevin Huerter. I know, Brendan, we talked about this the other day.
Right.
Kevin Huerter's stock may be really low. Really low. I'd buy some of it. I just don't buy that he is the player we saw last year. I think there are a lot of things that went into it. I think he had to overcome some things. He was struggling. The whole Chris Duarte thing early on probably shook him a little bit. I think he's a good enough player to still help this team. So I'm pretty optimistic on that front too.
Yeah, Deuce. I mean, I think that's a great point, and I keep harping on it too. Like, I think too much is made of DeMar and his spacing because that mid-range shot is absolutely lethal, and I think people associate spacing only with three-point shooting, but you can still space as long, like you said, as long as people aren't sitting in the paint, you're still having to go up on DeMar. You're not just going to leave him open for a shot. So that's part's definitely confused me about people concerned about the spacing. I get the overall thought, but it feels like it's been a bit overblown. And you also mentioned Keegan and his development, and maybe what DeMar might help or hurt in his development. Maybe he gets less shots. I think in a weird way that could be better. Just kind of make Keegan more efficient, do what you're good at. And I think last year we saw him kind of get out of his comfort zone a little bit, put the ball on the deck, attack the rim a little bit more aggressively. Defensively, we obviously saw him pick up a lot of guards at the point of attack. What do you want to see Keegan prioritize this season coming up? Is it still rounding out his game, or is it more just, hey, focus in on a couple things and just do that at a high level?
Being aggressive, shooting oh my gosh, I must cuss. Shooting the crap out of the basketball.
It's been too long. April 7th, 2023.
I know you guys do cuss.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I would never cuss. Come on. Yeah, I think like when you look at his all-around game, there's so many beautiful things about it. Yes, we could talk about, we want him to even improve more on ball defense. And, his shooting numbers went down from 3. Like, we want those to go back up. Sure, we can get into specifics, or we can just talk about the nature of the game and having a player like Keegan Murray who's capable of doing so much. Just be more aggressive. Don't be passive. Take the damn ball and shoot it.
Yes, don't think. Just go. Just go. I want you to let it fly. I want you to make a quick move to the basket. I want Keegan Murray to get to the free throw line too. That's the other aspect of his game. He has the tools necessary. And last year, teams knew about his shooting ability. He wasn't going to get the same looks he got in his rookie year. And so those numbers went down, but I saw more growth in the mid-range. His mid-range game improved drastically last year. Him attacking, as you mentioned. The one weird element when you look at his shot chart from 3 is he really tanked from the corner. I think he was like over 40+% from the corner his rookie year, and it was like 32% from the corner last year, which is kind of bizarre. I don't know how to explain that. But I think, again, playing with some of the offensive weapons, I mean, we talk about, DeMar and De'Aaron and Domas, Malik. The Kings have a lot of firepower, and I think having someone like Keegan out there, I think his catch and shoot numbers will go up again this year. I think he'll be more efficient, but he's got to look for his. I don't care who's out there. You have to remain aggressive. I'm really high on him, and I think he can be pretty impactful. If he can take a step with that aggressiveness, the Kings are going to be a lot better than even I think we believe.
Deuce Mason and Morgan Ragan, friends of the show over here. It's funny you say that corner 3 thing, because I was looking the other day, and actually Keon Ellis last year, I think, was 33 in the corners and 44 above the break. So you have me racking my mind a little bit here of our teams taking away the corner 3s. But practically a contract year for De'Aaron Fox. Extension eligible, and if he were to make All-NBA, would get Supermax money. Now, I think DeMar being here I'm interested to see the impact there, but it also makes me think the same way that you saw Malik work extremely well last offseason, and I think that will continue, obviously, but it's a thing for sure in contract years. Guys are going to put in a little bit more sometimes. If you were looking at De'Aaron's game and thought, where can he continue to take a next step from here, where would you look at that?
I think for me, I liked the development from 3. I think some people would criticize the shot selection at times. I think some people also say that when he misses a shot, it's like, are you saying it when he makes it? Okay. I definitely want the all around game. I think for him, it's doing it
I
consistently.
knew that was going to be the answer.
And it seems like every year there's like a month where you're like, hey, is everything okay? And I think a lot of it is like he gets nicked up. I think, he puts a lot of wear and tear on that body. He's the guy that's pushing the pace like crazy. He's trying to bring it on both ends of the ball. But the Kings can't afford to have him like be off for a month. Couple weeks, it happens. Like it's just going to happen in the NBA, but doing it consistently. And I think it goes back to having someone like DeMar on the team to take some offensive pressure off of him. So it's just not all on him to create all the time.
And when you say off for a month, you're not talking about like sitting on the bench off for a month. You're talking like just his game, his numbers,
Yeah.
You're
going like you saw the way he started last year was like, oh my goodness, this guy is he going to be in the MVP conversation? Right. Then he tailed off with the efficiency, and you're like, is everything okay? Is he hurt? And it lasts a little too long.
Yeah, and he was still playing well, but it's just like you said, the way he was playing at the start of the season after he was out those 5 games or whatever it was pretty early on in the season, it was like he went off. And I feel like he is capable of keeping that same type of play and efficiency throughout an entire season, but it's not easy to do. And it takes a different type of mindset. And I think something else, we were even talking about the other evening was just about him knowing when too much is too much. And I know so many people complain about, and so do I, about what is it? Rest management, whatever the hell.
Load management.
Thank you. Whatever the hell it's called. Get out of here with that. But my point is, with that, I also understand that some of these players, De'Aaron Fox, one of his best skill sets is being one of the fastest players on the floor. And if he's not capable of being as explosive or fast, and you take that away from him, it takes away a part of the identity of what the team can really accomplish together. And not to say that like everyone else shouldn't be stepping up if that's the case, but it just makes the team and it makes De'Aaron that much better.
And one more thing I want.
Oh God.
I think he could be all defensive team this year. And I think he showed flashes of it last year. I think he is one of the better defensive guards out there, and just being locked in all the time on that. You saw the steals is one thing, but he was near the top of the NBA in deflections as well. And I think that should be his goal big time, because if he can reach that mark, I think the Kings are in a really good spot.
Yeah, and just to highlight your first point about De'Aaron kind of staying on and not having a bad month, I'm looking at his splits month per month. First month of the season, 31 points. Second month of the season, 30 points. Third month of the season, 29. And then in January, he plays 15 games. He scores 22.5 points per game and never really ends up getting back up to that 28, 29, 30 point per game.
Which is hard.
It's very hard.
It's more about the efficiency than anything, right? And not having like a month
for sure
stretch where it's like, oh man, you're really struggling with the shot. So.
He was 43% in that down month and shot 32% from 3 in that down month. So definitely want to see some consistency out of De'Aaron. And last question that we have for you today is about the Kings rookie Devin Carter. And I think it's a really tough situation, obviously for him, but for Kings fans as well. What should our expectations realistically be for Devin Carter for his rookie year? He's obviously going to miss until about January. They gave him a 6-month time frame for even just reevaluation. Yeah. So there's definitely a chance he full misses his rookie season. I think there's a chance he jumps in the middle of the season and kind of becomes almost like a trade deadline acquisition. What are your guys' expectations individually for Devin Carter, and what we should expect to see from him his rookie season?
My mindset with it has been this: just don't expect anything from him next year. And then if you get something, it's a great surprise. I think the optimistic viewpoint is what you just said, and I love it. Post-trade deadline, all of a sudden you inject a little Devin Carter in there. I think the challenge becomes like, if it's all of a sudden, hey, it's mid-March and he can come back, and you're like, God, there's like a month left before the season. How do you fit him in?
Yeah.
But I think he's the type of player that can be very impactful this year if he's able to come back maybe earlier than we think.
I said this to Deuce the other day. I said there's so much of like, God, I don't know with Devin Carter. Like, we just don't know, but I can tell you what I want. And I would love if he was coming back, after the All-Star break or whatever it was. So then it was like, there was this space for him to get that NBA experience and still develop under this organization and not have to start the next season, right? Like, of course, that's what I would love to see. And I would love to see him make an impact, but I mean, you're asking a guy that is coming back from surgery for a long time,
Yeah.
and then playing in the NBA for the first time to do stuff. Like, it's just,
I would say this though, from a basketball shape standpoint, because that's the other element of it.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't need him to come back and play 30 minutes.
I
They need
understand
just an injection.
I understand the injection, Deuce. I'm
big on injections, as you can tell.
Yeah.
A lot HGH.
What?
I've said injection like 3 times. Sorry.
I was like, where's he going with that?
I know.
But
I was
yeah,
like, let's not get political here.
yeah, come on now. But yeah, so anyway, I know what I want, but I really am feeling like this world of like, God, I don't know what we're going to see. But hopefully there's something that we get.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we can talk to you guys sometime soon. Hopefully we can hear from you guys in sooner than a year and a half.
Ooh.
Look, while we're already making things uncomfortable, Frankie made things very uncomfortable the other day, by the way. I would never personally call you guys out for never having me on your show, but look, if Frankie wants to do that, he can go ahead and do that. But I'm just saying, I personally would never do
Watkins, I could send you a screenshot of you're literally on our list of Kings Roundtable people.
I think the other thing you have to acknowledge is, we don't do we're not on 3-4 hours a day where we have to fill with a whole bunch of guests.
Oh my God.
you guys kind of ran from the grand Sasha. It's kind of crazy.
We kind of have to pick. We have to pick, so yeah, you are on the list.
Oh my God.
It feels like I am on a list.
You're on a list. You're on. Yeah.
It's sub list.
I feel like I'm the list.
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine, guys. Thank you. No, you guys are busy. You got to go. We appreciate you guys coming on.
Meanwhile, Brendan's been on our podcast like 7
times. It's fine. It's Deuce Mo and Brendan.
I make sure to mention it to them too whenever they feel a type of way.
I did enjoy that part. I did like watching the hurt on their faces. As Brendan said, I've been on 3 times. Deuce Mason, Morgan Ragan of the Deuce Mo Podcast. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. Appreciate you both for coming on. And yeah, definitely hope to speak to you guys sometime soon because I miss y'all.
Miss you too, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Thank y'all
Thanks
for coming
a bunch.
on. Love y'all. All right, that is Deuce Mason, Morgan Ragan, the everything of Sacramento Kings. Love both of those two. Glad to hear their voices. And yeah, you can, as we alluded to, but never really actually promoted, Brendan Nunez, Frankie Cardicelli, our Sactown Sports Insiders, as well as Matt George, incredible friend of the show, and also a big a member of me and Brendan's gaming circle as well. Join Deuce and Mo on their podcast, their most recent release. So definitely go check out our guys on over there. And I promise you will be a smarter Kings fan for it. Coming up next, ladies